Bowls buddies, good morning and welcome to another Friday and another episode of Ask Andy. Now, today's going to be a bit different for a few reasons. Mainly, I'm not feeling particularly the best. Just feeling generally under the weather. Got a bad neck and shoulder that I think I've picked up playing golf. So what I had planned, I'm not going to. I'm going to save it, and instead, probably just going to talk about the Waterloo a little bit. Just sort of look at the situation that it's in, where we find ourselves with it, and just tell you my thoughts about it and how I feel about it, really. I think you can tell how I feel about it. I'm not. It's not good, I don't think. But you know, we'll get on to that momentarily. So thanks for joining me, guys. If you enjoy this video, please hit that like button. It helps the channel immensely, and if you're not already a Bulls buddy and a member of this wonderful community of ours, please hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free of charge, and hit that notification bell for notifications of new content on this channel. Smashing, got it out of the way. So, as I touched on Wednesday, Gary Ellis put out on Facebook the actual costs involved of getting the Waterloo bowling green and mainly the stands and surrounding buildings attached to the bowling green up to scratch, so that it's in a position where a 10-year lease can be signed from the owner. And I think initially the thoughts were it'd be around about, 40-50 grand, something like that maximum. Unfortunately, it's coming at an awful lot more than that, and just for the bare essentials you're looking at 75k, and more realistically you're looking at 100 grand to get all the stands in order, so that we can actually use the facility as a bowling green with spectators in it. And I think at a later date, I think one of the stands, it might be the west stand, needs a new roof on, or you're talking big money. So the situation, that's the situation. And in the interim between Wednesday and now, Lynn Pritchett has managed to get involved. Got in touch with a few people, got in touch with John Parrott, got in touch with newspapers, hoping that she can also get in touch with a few TV companies, Look North, West, is it? And Granada Reports, those sorts of people, to try and highlight the plight that the Waterloo is in. And ultimately she set up a GoFundMe page, which is like Just Giving, but I don't think they charge you a fee for that. And she's trying to get 2,000 people to pay or pledge £50 each, which would give you the money required. On top of that, Gary Ellis himself has pledged, I think it's 25 grand towards it, which is incredible. I know Gary can afford it, but even so, it's still an incredible amount of money for any one person to give. So I think so far there's about 200 people pledged, so 10% of what's needed, and about 120 have already paid the money on GoFundMe, raising about 7 grand. I've got nearly 2 grand to donate from the Waterloo weight loss. That takes us, so say we've got 10 grand there, and garage, 25, 35 grand, 65 grand short. And don't forget, this is just to get us to a position where we can get a lease. Now, it's difficult for me, is this, because it feels like somebody's told me a relative has got terminal cancer, and I don't want to, I'm not downplaying the seriousness of that. That's how it feels to me. When I was a kid starting bowling, all I ever wanted to do was win the Waterloo. That was my dream, my ambition, my goal. When I went playing bowls, I was playing Brian Duncan, and it was always the final of the Waterloo, and that's how I was brought up. The Waterloo was everything, and I don't think in my wildest dreams 30 years ago, or longer, more than 30 years ago, that if you'd have told me that there'd be a point where the Waterloo was closed and was in danger of never reopening, I'd have laughed at you. Can't happen. But yeah, that's where we are. Now, I know not everyone feels the same way about the Waterloo as I do. You know, different parts of the country see things slightly differently. I know the further south you go, it's the All England that kids dream of winning. I don't know if kids still dream or have dreams about bowls, but I'm sure they probably don't. But for me, it was always the Waterloo, and we're looking at 120-ish years of bowls history going. So that's the heart side of me, that's the passionate side of me, that's me feeling, you know, everything for the Waterloo. For me, the Waterloo is Crown Green bowls. And then the head part of me kicks in and says, Andy, £100,000 just to get in a position to then get a lease. That doesn't, you know, it doesn't. Yes, it gets you somewhere, but then you've got to start getting the revenues in to keep going. And if I was a businessman, would I be interested? Absolutely not. I wouldn't have anything to do with it. It's a scenario where all I'm doing is throwing money into a hole, and probably just kicking the can down the road, you know. So there's nothing to say in another 4 or 5 years' time, maybe even sooner, we're in a similar position where we need to raise funds for the Waterloo. So that's the head part of me. But I don't think I could sleep again. I couldn't sleep at night if I knew that there'd been a chance to keep it going and we hadn't done everything we possibly could to do it. And that's where I am with it, I think. For me, this is a last roll of the dice situation. It's our last chance. If we don't raise that money, we wave bye-bye to the Waterloo. And apparently all these pledges, if we don't raise the relevant 100,000, they go back. You get your money back. So to me, it's a bit of a no-brainer. I know there's people out there that, you know, don't see the Waterloo as a viable venture, and I'm not sure I do, if I was being totally honest and being rational. But I think it's worth saving. I think it's like having your pet. You know, you love it to bits, and you do everything you can to keep it alive, however much it costs at the vets, you know. And I know at some point there's a cut off and you give it the injection, but personally I don't think that's just yet. I think we need to try and do this. And I know it's hard. You know, COVID has cost people their jobs, their lives. You know, not everyone can afford a lot of money, and I know £50 is a lot of money for people. But I hope, if there are a few of you out there who want, you know, you might have already given to me for my weight loss, which is fantastic. There might be a few of you out there who can still find 50 quid to put in towards the Waterloo. And as I say, if they don't reach the 100,000, you get it back. So So that's my thoughts really. Last roll of the dice. Diffs doesn't work. That's that. And I think Gary has said that by the end of the month, that point will come where a decision is made whether to keep going or call it a day. Other people have talked about, let's make another venue. Well, the problem is with other venues, and absolutely, if there are plenty of venues that could become a Waterloo, but they've 120 years to catch up on. It's just a very sad state of affairs all round, and it's too late really to be pointing fingers and going on about blame and stuff like that. So it's just pointless doing that. But if you can give something, that's great. If you can't, fair enough. Not everyone can. Not everyone wants to. That's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. So anyway, it's been getting me down. I just thought I'd get that off my chest, and but I couldn't think of a better way of doing it. So thanks for watching, guys. Not exactly laugh a minute or up to my usual standards, I don't think. I will say this: if you're doing anything if you're free on Sunday and you want to have a laugh, I will be down at Gaggles Bowling Club 10 AM for the East Lancs Super League game. I may even be going on the green because I've heard this short. But I will be taking my camera down and maybe doing a little bit of filming, so that could be fun. I don't know what's happening with this, with these new regulations and new rules. I don't know how it's going to affect the bowling. I really don't. But if you're going on the green this weekend, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you on the other side.